Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mama Karen, and today I am going to do a throwback tag, and I was tagged by Melinda from Pigsty Atelier. Atelier? I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce that, but I bet you all know her, and I'll try to link her below. But there are 10 questions, and I'm going to try to go through those questions. And I will tell you that I'm in an interior room of my home, and there's not a lot of natural lighting, so the pictures I'm going to show you probably are going to be hard for you to view with any kind of quality. So we'll do the best we can. Okay, 10 questions, throwback tag. First question is, what year were you born? Well, this is kind of a strange question because normally most people can just name that year. But I actually was supposed to be born about 2.5 months later. So I was born in 1958, but I was supposed to be born in 1959. I was a premature baby, and back in those times, they didn't have NICU, and so I was in the hospital for 21 days in an incubator. I was lucky to survive because they really didn't think that I would, and I really didn't have any major issues, luckily. So that is the year that I was born. Number 2, do you have any pictures of yourself when you were younger? And I do. I don't know how great these will show up, but I am going to show you some. Let me get out of frame here for just a minute. Now this is the picture that I have of myself, and it's the earliest picture that I have, and I think I was 6 months old in this picture. And my mother has written on the back of it that my brother's arm is in the bed with me and he's patting me because she was outside building a snowman for my brother, and he is not quite 3 years older than me. So that is the earliest picture that I've ever seen of myself, and this was on my mom and dad's bedroom wall for many years. This next picture, let me see if I can get it over here where you can see it. I was almost a year old. Sorry, these are old pictures, and they're really they're not the best quality, and showing up on this video, they're probably going to be terrible, but it's the best I can do. And also ignore my chipped manicure. That's something I'm going to do today before church in the morning. Now this picture, I'm really not sure how old I was in it, but I think I was around 2, and I was sick in this picture, so you could kind of tell I didn't feel my best. That was when I was 2. This was when I was probably between 2 and 3. I've got one that doesn't have anything written on it, but most of the time my mom put what age we were. And then here's another small one. This is taken a little bit, later. I love that little dress. And this one was my first grade. No, I didn't go to school yet. I take that back. This was before I went to school, I think. And again, I'd been sick in that picture. Next picture, this was my 2nd grade school picture. Look at those little pink glasses and that dress. Wasn't I cute? I think that's a cute picture. Then I think I skipped. This is 3rd grade. Look at that hair. Can you tell that she had curled my hair the night before? Because my hair was just as straight as it could be. But I was happy, wasn't I? Rocking the old headband. Alright, that was 3rd grade. Then I skipped all the way. This is 6th grade. Look at the glasses. Wasn't I styling? I wasn't smiling, showing my teeth. And even at that time, my teeth were perfect. I didn't have this big gap. That came through the years. That was in 6th grade. And then I'm just going to show you, let's see, this picture was when my daughter was married. Whoops, I'm cutting myself out of it. Not a very good picture. Whoops. She's beautiful, but I didn't look so great. But that is the last picture I'm going to show you. That's all you need to know. That's probably more than you want to know. All right, the next question is, what TV shows did you watch? Sorry, I dropped my pictures. What TV shows did you watch growing up? These are just a few of my favorites. I liked Family Affair, Courtship of Eddie's Father. I had a terrible crush on Bill Bixby. I just thought he was something. My Three Sons, The Brady Bunch, The Jetsons. I love that cartoon. I just wished I could live like that. You know, just get ready with the push of a button. Carol Burnett Show, That Girl, The Flying Nun. Those were some of my favorite shows. Of course, we had to watch some of the family shows, Bonanza, Hee Haw, The Virginian. I remember my dad liked the cowboy shows. All in the Family, those shows. Number 4 is, what did you want to be when you were younger? What did you want to grow up to be? And that was a teacher. And you know what? I did that. I worked in the field of education, either as a teacher or an administrator for 31 years. So I guess I reached my goal. Number 5. What were your favorite toys to play with as a child? Well, my mother had 4 children, so we played outside a lot, and I preferred that, actually. I loved tetherball. We played tetherball. My dad built me a tetherball set, and my brother and I played that so many hours. I just can't imagine how many hours we spent doing that. We loved playing badminton, baseball. My dad was a big baseball person, and I played softball. And we actually had a baseball diamond with a backstop that my dad had built, because that was how important it was. And of course, he coached us all. We also made homemade stilts that we would walk around on. And one of our favorite things to do is we would take barrels, the metal barrels, and we would get on top of them and we would walk on them and roll them down a hill. And we lived at the top of the hill, and my grandparents lived at the bottom of the hill, and we would start all the way at our house, and we would roll down there was a fence to the fence row at my grandparents' house. It's lucky none of us were killed, but we weren't. We lived to tell about it. I also loved playing cars. We would get out in the dirt and make racetracks and roads, and I loved doing that. I did have a few dolls, but they really weren't my favorite thing. And I don't think I ever had a Barbie. I had a Francie doll, I think. And that's really all I ever had. I wasn't interested in that too much. We were really outside kids. We liked playing outside. Question number 6. What's the most embarrassing thing that you remember doing? Well, I guess when I was younger, I might have had a penchant for lying or something. I don't really know. But we had been downtown, and my mom was coat shopping for the kids. Well, that was boring to me. I got away from her, left the store, walked down the street it was an eye doctor's office. And I told him a big story. I told him, I don't remember what grade I was in, maybe 1st grade. I told him I was in third or 4th grade, and that my mom said I could go on a walk and all this stuff. Well, they knew that wasn't true. And so pretty soon they had people come running looking for me, and that was embarrassing because of course, I got found out that I was a liar. So I broke that habit because that wasn't much fun, having that found out about you. Number 7 is 3 songs that you loved as a child. Well, I loved Simon and Garfunkel, and Bridge Over Troubled Waters has always been one of my favorites, even now. Three Dog Night. I love Joy to the World. And I liked CCR, Proud Mary, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Those are some of my favorite songs. Of course, I loved Bee Gees, Carly Simon. I remember, I think I was in, I think fourth grade. I got a stereo system for Christmas, I think. And of course, that was a record player. With it did have some side speakers, so I was pretty well uptown. And I remember one of the first records that I had was a 45, and it was I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash, and I had a Bread album. And those are the first ones that I really remember having. I love that. We also had country music at our house because my mother was a big country music fan. We listened to Merle Haggard and all those older singers at that time. But oh gosh, we had all kinds of music at my house. Number 8 is what is the funniest Halloween costume, and what are some of the costumes that you dressed up as or dressed up in as a child? Well, I remember being really little, and we didn't have the costumes like they do now. And I remember we would have masks, and my grandmother called them false faces. I don't know if you remember that or not, any of you. If you're my age, you might remember it, but they called it a false face. And then because just to ease, I dressed up a lot of times as a hobo or a tramp or a farmer or a ghost. Bums, mostly that kind of things that were easy that you could wear, like overalls and old clothes and bandanas and that type of thing. And we trick-or-treated, but we also did some pranking. I lived out in the country, and we would put things across the road so people couldn't drive past them. I also hate to admit this, but I threw some eggs at cars too. I can't believe I did that, but now remember, I'm the youngest of 4, and I had older brothers, and of course an older sister, but she was gone at that time. And I had cousins that were all older than me, and a lot of them were boys. They were ornery. Boy, we did it right with them. At the time, I never realized how bad that was, but we did do that. I hate to say that, so shh, don't tell anyone. All right, number 9. Name something that you did weird as a child. Gosh, I couldn't think of anything weird because I think I was always weird. I was maybe not a people pleaser, but a parent pleaser. I did everything I could because I wanted my parents to be happy with me. I'd just do anything. I learned to do all my dad's outside chores with him because he worked a full-time job, and then he raised cattle, and he had gardens and animals and all that kind of stuff. And so when he would get off work, I would go do the work up with him because I enjoyed doing that. I cleaned house for my mother because she always bragged on me, how I could do much better than my sister, who was 11 years older than me. And she always said that even to the day she passed, that I was better at things like that than my sister. So I guess that's weird. I don't know. And number 10, the last question is, what is the scariest thing that you remember that happened to you as a child? Well, we lived, it's kind of a rural area, but a town that was about 17,000, I guess. And all my mom's brothers and sisters, well, not all of them, but the majority of them lived in St. Louis, in the city. And so that was our vacation. We would go visit them and do things with them. We went to the Cardinals games. We went to Six Flags, to the zoo, Grant's Farm, all that kind of stuff. And one weekend we had gone up to my aunt and uncle's house, and I think we got up there on a Friday afternoon, and they had a tent set up in their yard. Well, we played in that tent and all that, and then, we went to bed, and then the next morning, when it was time to get up, they couldn't find me at all. They searched the whole house and couldn't find me. I think I was probably about 12. And I had sleepwalked, I guess. and gone outside, left their house at nighttime, gone outside to the tent, and went to sleep out there by myself. And I remember when my mom found me, she was, of course, panicked. I guess I had a I had a habit of running off and scaring the dickens out of her, but that's the most scary thing that I can think of. I'm sure there were others. I'd like to thank Melinda for tagging me in this video, and I hope that you enjoyed finding out a little bit more about me. And if you would, please subscribe, like, share if you'd like to. And if you want to take part in this video, Melinda has the questions on her video, and she's better at doing all that. I'm not really good at editing and all that. I'm still learning that. I have just the PC, and I just use my movie to do editing, so I don't know how to do too much fancy. So if you, like I said, if you're interested in doing that, please go to her channel and check out the questions. Again, thank you for watching. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Take care, my friends.